Hey everyone. I just wanted to start let's see. Okay, they're telling my, hello. Okay, I just want to make sure that it was working. Hey, I'm Dr. Lauren. I'm excited to be here for our second Instagram Live. I've received a lot of your questions, and I'm going to do my best to address each one of them. If you have any other questions, you can certainly try to put them in the notes here, and I'll be trying to follow them. Okay, so here I am. Sorry that I'm a couple of minutes late with a wet head, but I think I can actually work that into a lesson and address the first question at the same time. So I had a choice. I had committed to the 1 o'clock Instagram Live today, and I had a break at the office with some of the girls that I was seeing this morning, and I had a choice. I told you last week that when I was about 19 years old and I really struggled with mood regulation, that I put myself on a regimen, a lifestyle regimen, because my moods would be so high and it didn't feel like happy high. It felt like rammy, like couldn't sit still kind of high, like an internal motor that just wouldn't quit, and the low lows that like I wanted to do something, but I was like one want away from actually doing it. Well, at that time, I had learned that going for a run, like a half hour of cardio exercise would regulate my mood. And so I had never run before, and I started by walking fast and then running, and then when I couldn't run anymore, I'd start walking again, and I built it up so that I could run a half hour. And what I learned is that I had the same increase in serotonin, which is the neurotransmitter that makes us feel good, as a low dose of an SSRI, which are the drugs like Prozac and Zoloft. And so at that time, I put myself on a running schedule where I would run every day just for about 25 minutes to try to get an increase in serotonin so that I could get my ass out of bed, or so that I could regulate my mood and I wouldn't feel so rammy like I was going to jump out of my skin. And so today, I was finished with girls in my office a little bit later than I had anticipated, and it was the only time that I could possibly get my run in. So my choice was to shower and put makeup on and do my hair, so that I was sure that I looked presentable for all of you, and so that hopefully you would like me, or take care of myself and make sure that I was in check with my mood, and make sure that I didn't get anxious and go for my run and show up here with a wet head. And so I've learned over the years that it's much better for me to make my mood and my anxiety a priority, rather than putting everything else first. And so I hope that you like me anyway. Okay, so that's number one. But the first question kind of ties into that. I actually read this on Edward Eddingfield's Instagram. I've been reading all of the comments because it's a huge deal for me that Adjoa did her first assignment with British Vogue, interviewing me and doing an article on me and my work with Girls Talk and my work with The Practice. And so I've been reading all of the comments, like almost addictive, reading the comments, because it's a huge deal. Like it almost feels like, oh my God, Mom, look, no hands, I'm doing it. So I've been reading the comments, and I just read one comment that said, yeah, but I'm about 20 years old, and on the video I had said that I would tell my 20-year-old self, not to make myself small. And not to try to fit in so damn hard, and not worry so much about other people liking me and accepting me. Because what I've learned with age and with time and experience that, just fitting in, just by virtue of that phrase, to fit in, we have to make ourselves small and less than we are to actually do it. And so if I had just known when I was younger that all I had to do was stand up and stand in my power and just be me, and that everything would fall into place, God, I would have tried harder to do that. And the person, in the comments said, yeah, but that's kind of easy for you to say because you're not 20 anymore. And at 20, it's still really hard. And I get that. It's really easy for a 42-year-old woman to say, like, don't worry about that stuff. That's not necessarily what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't worry about it. But what I'm saying is let's set our goals differently. Like if I had known at the time that fitting in was not the goal and being me was the goal, I think that I would have done different things and set different short-term goals. I had really internalized everything that society was telling me. And so I thought that in order to to be successful here in this place, because remember that society is where we are, not who we are. But I didn't really even know that stuff. So I thought that everything that society was telling me was truth. And so I thought that I had to be accommodating and well-liked and be the good girl by doing what everybody else told me to do rather than what I wanted to do. And I thought that I had to be thin and attractive, and that I had to be smart and successful as far as society is concerned in order to be okay here. And what I've learned is that, like, that's all kind of bullshit. And you know, if you stand in your power, we are each born with everything that we need to get through this life in a healthy and happy way. And if you really hone into you, and you don't worry about what society's telling you to be, and instead you really try every single day to be honest with yourself and with others, to be accountable, to have integrity, and to stand in your own power, that really doesn't have anything to do with, like, fitting in as far as, like, you know, the clothes you wear and stuff like that. People who value those things that are valued in this place, we just kind of have to look at them and be like, they just didn't learn yet. You know, we're all at a different place in this learning process. And instead of taking their judgments so personally, just recognize that they just don't get it, you know? So in response to the, yeah, but, you know, fitting in ain't so easy. Yeah, no kidding, you know? And I think that recognizing that this is a lifelong process, you know, like in the video with Adjoa for British Vogue, I mentioned, you know, this is 4 decades in the making of me being able to stand in my power. And I guarantee you that in 10 years, I'll look back at that video and think, I thought I had it then. I hadn't even gotten started. Because remember, this is the work. Like, becoming who we truly are is a lifelong process, and it's totally, that is the work. So, like, if we are truly 100% ourselves at age 20, like, what the hell are we going to do from that point forward? I think just accepting that this is a process, and that's actually a pretty cool thing, and it's okay, rather than thinking that you need to meet some destination right now. You know, I truly believe there is no destination. So the point of it all is this. You are more than enough. You are everything, because, you know, you're everything that you're supposed to be right this second. You know, one thing that I've learned is that we're always okay right now. And right now is exactly where you need to be in order to move forward tomorrow. The biggest piece of this is managing the symptoms that come from living in this place, right? And so we all have anxiety. I was nervous right before I was doing this. I was like, oh God, I didn't do my hair. I'm going to be like a disaster, you know? And then I thought, okay, like the mission is bigger than I am. And so I really can't worry about what my hair looks like. That really needs to be secondary, Lauren. But we all need to have those conversations with ourselves and recognize that the goal isn't not to have the thoughts. The goal isn't not to be human. The goal is to kind of go, I had that silly thought again, and get on with your day and recognize that your value and the reason that you're here is so much bigger than all of these lessons that we learn from the day that we're born. Okay, so that's the first one. Now let me look. I have a little card here with all the questions because I got so many in, which is super fun. Okay, let's see. Oh, this one's a good one. So somebody wrote in and said that their family, you know, like they're really on, they have a growth mindset. This woman, she has a growth mindset, and she really kind of, like, relatively speaking, in her family and with her friends, she's the person who really kind of has her shit together, as far as everybody else is concerned. But the one thing that she struggles with is that a lot of her friends and family come to her with all of their negativity all of the time, and she's having difficulty with knowing, like, when is it helping, and when is it kind of hindering. Okay, so this is one of the rules that I totally have, because of course, being a psychologist, and always wanting, you know, thinking that I have some, you know, some secret to save the universe. Everybody comes to me all the time. And this is the one rule of thumb that I have. I will have one conversation with a family member, with a friend, one conversation to identify the problem. Then I will give my 2 cents. I'll say, okay, well, this is what I've learned. You might want to check A, B, C, D. Then it's up to them to do A, B, C, D. Now, if they need some help with meandering through doing the solutions, all right. But I'm not going to bathe with somebody in their problem, because that's just going to steal my energy away from me. One thing that I've learned is that we can never pick other people up. right? So just by virtue of gravity, right? Whenever we reach down for somebody, it takes us down with them. So somebody has to meet you where you're at. So you can certainly discuss somebody's problems and be a good friend. But being a good friend is meeting someone in the solution, not bathing with them in the problem. And so the key is listen, all ears, take it in, provide some solutions. Then if they need some nudging along the way in the solution, awesome, you're totally there. But if they're going to continue to talk about the same problem, you really can't do that because it's going to steal your energy from engaging in your own solutions. I hope that makes sense. Okay, now the next one, let's see here. Ooh, this is a good one. All right, so this woman broke up with her partner, and she had been with this person for quite a long time. And she said that typically she feels super empowered, and she's always empowering other women, and she typically feels quite good about herself. But now she has this breakup, and she said, how do I get back to my power? Well, first of all, our power never leaves us. We are power, right? Like we're born that way. And, you know, I think, how do you get back to your power? Maybe you can't feel it right now, but you have to remember that any breakup is a loss, right? So it's a grieving process that we have to go through, and that's okay. I think sitting in that and walking through the grieving process and accepting that and really like recognizing, you know, like it's painful and it's okay to be in pain. Like it's okay to have negative emotion. It's okay to be human. It's okay to feel that loss. And, you know, just recognizing that you're feeling those feelings and honoring those feelings. Because it can be really hard to break up with someone. You know, it almost feels like a death of some kind, and we go through that same grieving process that we do when somebody passes away. And so I think the most powerful thing to do when you've experienced a significant loss is to recognize that your power is in your presence, which means that be present in that moment of grieving. You know, power does not only feel positive. Power does not only feel like I can take on the world. Power is being present, being here, wherever you're at right this minute. And so for this woman who wrote in and asked, like, how do I get back to my power? You know, my thoughts, you're already there. I think that you recognizing that and honoring those feelings is you valuing yourself. Okay, so let's see. Okay, somebody's saying negative comments, and those are not welcome here. Thank you. Okay, so the next one is, okay, this is a good one. I never had a boyfriend because of certain body image concerns and not being comfortable in my own skin and feeling like, you know, I didn't really fit societal standards of what a female body should look like. And so I never really got too close with somebody because I didn't want to be touched. And now that I really, really appreciate my body and love my curves and I'm feeling really good about myself, because I'm a little bit older than somebody would be if they entered a first relationship, I feel kind of like I am not up to speed. Like I don't really know how to be in a relationship. And so now I feel kind of insecure because I feel like I'm behind the 8 ball. Like I don't even know where to start, and other people my age are certainly more experienced than I am in relationships and sexually, and so now I feel, you know, insecure, and now I don't want to be in a relationship for that reason. At the same time, I'd really like to share my life with somebody, so what the hell do I do? Okay, here's the deal. I totally understand the being insecure in your body and not wanting to be in a relationship because you're afraid that it's going to, you know, turn sexual, and then you're going to be like, oh my God, so seen, literally and figuratively. And now you're kind of like, oh gosh, but like now I need to catch up and I don't know how the hell how.